Nobody knew Linda had money. Not her daughters, not her sister, not even her closest friends. For 14 years, she lived in the same rented house in Tulsa, wore the same simple clothes, drove a 2009 Honda Civic with a cracked bumper. She worked as a vet clinic assistant, earned $38,000 a year, and from the outside, her life looked stuck. People felt sorry for her. Her sister bought nicer things, her coworkers went on vacations, her daughters sometimes wondered why their mom couldn't do better. But inside that invisible, quiet life, something was growing. Every paycheck had a secret destination. Every dollar passed through a filter nobody else could see. Then, one Tuesday morning, Linda's mother had a massive heart attack. The surgery cost $47,000. Insurance covered half. The family needed the rest, fast. Her sister tried to get a loan, denied. Her brother talked about selling his truck. Her daughters panicked. And Linda walked into the hospital billing office and paid the entire balance in cash. Nobody saw that coming. Before we continue, if this story hits you, please hit the like button and subscribe. It helps YouTube recommend this to people who need to hear it. Now, stay with the full story. Linda Hartman had worked at Riverside Veterinary Clinic in Tulsa, Oklahoma for 18 years. Not as a vet, she'd never finished college. She was the front desk assistant, appointments, phone calls, insurance paperwork, filing, the kind of job that kept a small clinic running but didn't come with a title people asked about at parties. She earned $38,000 a year. After taxes, that was about $2,400 a month. Not poverty, but not comfort either. Not in 2024. Linda was 55, divorced for 12 years now, an amicable split, no drama, just two people who grew apart. Her ex-husband, Tom, had remarried and moved to Arkansas. They barely spoke anymore. She had two daughters. Jessica, 29, worked as a dental hygienist in Oklahoma City. Amy, 26, was finishing her teaching credential in Broken Arrow. Both were independent, both were kind, but both had quietly wondered over the years why their mom never seemed to move forward. Linda lived in a small rental house on the east side of Tulsa, near 21st and Garnett. 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, a carport with a sagging roof. She'd lived there for 18 years. Same beige walls, same laminate countertops, same creaky front door that stuck in the humidity. Her landlord had raised the rent twice, $850 a month now. Still affordable by Tulsa standards, but it stung every time. Her mornings started at 6:15 a.m. Coffee from a $12 Mr. Coffee machine she'd had since 2011. Shower, the same rotation of 5 work outfits she'd been wearing for years, simple slacks, plain blouses, nothing trendy. Out the door by 7:10 to beat the traffic on the Broken Arrow Expressway. She brought lunch from home every single day. Leftovers, sandwiches, a banana. Never bought coffee out, never stopped at Quick Trip for a breakfast burrito like her coworkers did. At the clinic, Linda was reliable, quiet, never complained, never asked for raises, never called in sick unless she absolutely had to. The vets liked her because she didn't cause problems. Her coworkers liked her because she was kind. But they also pitied her a little. Because Linda drove a 2009 Honda Civic with 187,000 miles, a cracked rear bumper, and a passenger window that didn't roll down anymore. Her coworkers drove newer cars, financed but newer. Linda's phone was an iPhone 8 in 2024. Her coworkers had iPhone 15s. Linda never went to happy hour, never joined the weekend girls' trips to Branson or Dallas, never bought new clothes unless the old ones literally fell apart. From the outside, Linda Hartman looked like someone who'd given up. Her sister, Carol, who lived 20 minutes away in Bixby, had said it out loud once during Thanksgiving 2 years ago. "Lynn, you've been in that same rental for almost 20 years. You're 55. Don't you want more?" Linda had just smiled. "I'm fine, Carol, really." But Carol wasn't convinced. Neither were her daughters, who loved their mom but sometimes felt embarrassed when friends asked what she did or where she lived. What nobody knew, not Carol, not Jessica, not Amy, not a single coworker, was that Linda wasn't stuck. She was disciplined.
Every 2 weeks, when her paycheck hit her account, Linda did something nobody ever saw. She transferred money immediately, before paying rent, before groceries, before anything. She transferred it to a savings account across town that nobody in her life even knew existed. Not $50, not $100, between $650 and $750 every single paycheck for 14 years. She'd learned this from her grandmother, who'd survived the Dust Bowl in the Depression, a woman who told Linda when she was 19, "The money nobody knows you have is the only money that's really yours." Linda never forgot that. So while her sister bought a new SUV on a 6-year loan, while her coworkers financed vacations on credit cards, while her daughters wondered why their mom couldn't do better, Linda quietly built something no one could see. But it came at a cost. Because every time she said no to dinner out, every time she skipped a family trip, every time she wore the same coat for the 5th winter in a row, people noticed, and they judged. They just didn't know what they were looking at.
Saving money in silence isn't just a financial discipline, it's an emotional war. Because Linda lived surrounded by people who spent, who showed off, who seemed to enjoy life more than she did. Every time her coworkers posted vacation photos from Florida or Colorado, Linda scrolled past feeling something uncomfortable. Not jealousy exactly, doubt. Am I doing this wrong? Am I wasting my life? One Saturday afternoon in 2019, Linda was walking through Woodland Hills Mall. She passed a store window and saw a dress. Navy blue, simple cut. It would have looked perfect on her. $68. Not expensive. She could afford it without even touching her secret account. But then she heard her grandmother's voice. If you don't need it, you don't buy it. Linda walked away. And she felt empty. Not because of the dress, because her life felt too controlled, too small, too boring. Her coworkers invited her to lunch sometimes. "Lynn, come on, it's just Chili's. It's not that expensive." She'd make excuses. "I brought food. I'm trying to eat healthier. Maybe next time." After a while, they stopped asking. Not out of anger. They just assumed Linda wasn't a going-out person. And Linda sat alone in the break room, eating her Tupperware chicken and rice, wondering if she'd made herself invisible on purpose. The worst part wasn't the loneliness, it was the comparison. Her sister Carol bought a house, put 3% down, financed the rest, posted photos of the housewarming party. Everyone celebrated. Linda had been renting the same place for 18 years. Her coworker Jen bought a brand new Nissan Rogue, bright red, leather seats, backup camera, posted a selfie with the keys. Linda still drove the 2009 Civic with the cracked bumper. Her daughter Jessica got engaged and started planning a wedding. She casually mentioned she wished her mom could help more financially, like Dad does. That one stung. Because Linda could help. She had more saved than anyone knew. But if she revealed it, everything would change. The questions, the expectations, the requests that would never stop. So she stayed quiet, and she felt like a bad mother. In 2022, Linda turned 50. She spent her birthday alone in her rental house, eating a slice of store-bought cake, staring at the same beige walls she'd been staring at for 15 years. What am I doing this for? She opened her banking app. The secret account balance glowed on the screen. $68,400. She could buy a car, a nicer place, help her daughters, travel, live like everyone told her she should. Her thumb hovered over the transfer button. Then she remembered something else her grandmother had said. Money saved in silence gives you something money spent never will. Freedom. Linda closed the app. Because even though her life looked small, she didn't owe anyone anything. No debt, no payments, no financial stress. If she wanted to quit her job tomorrow, she could survive for years. That was freedom. Invisible freedom. But it still hurt. Her sister Carol said it plainly at Thanksgiving that year. "Lynn, you live like you're poor. I don't get it. You have a job. You've always had a job. What are you saving for? You can't take it with you when you die." Linda didn't answer. Because Carol earned more than Linda, but lived paycheck to paycheck, financed everything, stressed about money constantly, borrowed from her brother twice in the past year. Linda saw that clearly, but she couldn't say it without sounding cruel, so she just nodded and changed the subject. The discipline didn't break, but some nights, lying awake in her rented bedroom, Linda wondered, am I being wise or am I being a fool? The answer came on a Tuesday morning in March 2024. Her phone rang at 6:47 a.m. before her alarm. It was her sister. Carol's voice was shaking, barely holding together. "Lynn,
Mom had a heart attack. She's at St. Francis. It's bad. They need to do surgery today. Linda's chest went cold. How bad? The surgery is $47,000. Insurance covers about half. We need the rest now or they can't do it. Silence. Then Carol's voice cracked. I don't know what to do. I already tried to get a loan. They said no. I'm maxed out. Danny's trying to sell his truck, but I'll handle it. What? I'll handle it. Tell them to do the surgery. I'll be there in 20 minutes. Carol's voice went quiet, confused. Lynn, how? Linda didn't answer. She just hung up, got dressed, and drove to the hospital.
Linda walked into St. Francis Hospital at 7:32 a.m. Her sister Carol was in the waiting room, eyes red, phone in hand, trying to figure out how to come up with $24,000 they didn't have. Linda didn't stop to explain. She went straight to the billing office. I'm here about Helen Hartman. She's having heart surgery this morning. I need to settle the balance. The billing coordinator pulled up the account. Yes, ma'am. After insurance, the patient responsibility is $23,780. We can set up a payment plan if... I'll pay it now, all of it. The woman blinked. I'm sorry? I'll pay the full balance, right now. Can I do that by check, or do you need a card? The coordinator stared at her for a second, then nodded slowly. Check is fine. Linda pulled out her checkbook, not from her regular checking account, but from the account no one knew existed, the one at Tulsa Federal Credit Union, the one she'd been depositing into for 14 years. She wrote the check. Her hand didn't shake. $23,780. She handed it over. This clears the balance completely? Yes, ma'am. Your mother's surgery is fully covered. Linda walked back to the waiting room. Carol looked up, eyes desperate. Danny says he can maybe get $3,000 for his truck by tomorrow, and I'm trying to... It's done, Linda said quietly. What? The surgery's paid for. They're doing it now. Carol's face went blank, confused, then shocked. What do you mean it's paid for? How? I paid it. You... Lynn, that's almost $24,000. How did you... I had it saved. Carol just stared. Her mouth opened, but no words came out. Their brother Danny, who'd been on the phone in the corner, walked over. Wait, you paid the whole thing? Where did you get that kind of money? Linda looked at them both, calm, unfazed. I've been saving for 14 years, every paycheck. Nobody knew because I didn't tell anyone. Carol's eyes filled with tears, not from relief, from shock. You've had that much money this whole time? Yes. But you live in a rental. You drive that old car. You never go anywhere. I thought... You thought I was struggling, Linda finished. I wasn't. I was preparing. The words hung there. Danny looked like he'd been slapped. Lynn, we've been giving you hand-me-down furniture, offering to help with bills, feeling sorry for you. Linda didn't flinch. I know. And you just let us? Yes. Because if I told you I had money, everything would have changed. You would have asked to borrow, expected me to pay for things, judged every choice I made. Carol sat down, covering her face with her hands. I don't understand. How did you save that much on your salary? Linda sat beside her. Grandma told me something when I was 19. She said, the money nobody knows you have is the only money that's really yours. So I followed 3 rules. She held up one finger. First, I paid myself before I paid anyone else. Every paycheck, the moment it hit my account, I moved $600 to $750 into a separate savings account. Not at the end of the month, not if there was money left over. First. Second finger. Second, I lived below my means, way below. I didn't buy things just because I could afford them. I asked, do I need this or do I just want it? Most of the time, the answer was want, so I didn't buy it. Third finger. Third, I never told anyone, because the moment people know you have money, they stop seeing you as a person. They see you as a solution to their problems. Carol wiped her eyes. But you looked poor. I looked disciplined. There's a difference. Danny shook his head, still processing. 14 years? You did this for 14 years and never said a word? Because it wasn't anyone's business. Carol's voice cracked. I judged you. I thought you didn't know how to live. I felt sorry for you. Linda looked at her sister with something close to sadness. I know, and that's exactly why I didn't tell you. The truth settled between them like a weight. For 14 years, Linda had let people think she was struggling, let them pity her, let them wonder why she couldn't do better. Because she knew something they didn't. Real wealth is not what you show, it's what you keep. Her grandmother had survived the Dust Bowl by keeping her money hidden in coffee cans, buried in the yard, invisible to neighbors who might ask to borrow or thieves who might steal. Linda had done the same thing, just with a credit union account instead of a coffee can. And when the crisis came, when her family was desperate and panicking and scrambling for loans that wouldn't come through, Linda walked into a billing office and wrote a check. No panic, no debt, no begging, just preparation. Her mother's surgery took 4 hours. It was successful. And when Helen Hartman woke up in recovery, surrounded by her children, she had no idea that her youngest daughter had just saved her life with money nobody knew existed.
The day after the surgery, everything changed. Not Linda's life. Her life stayed exactly the same. Same rental house, same job, same 2009 Civic. But the way people saw her changed completely. Carol couldn't stop staring at her. At family dinners, at the hospital during their mother's recovery, there was this new look in her sister's eyes, part gratitude, part disbelief, part resentment. Because for 14 years, Carol had pitied Linda, and now she realized Linda had never needed her pity at all. 2 weeks after the surgery, Carol called. Lynn, I need to ask you something. Linda already knew what was coming. I'm drowning in credit card debt, $11,000. The interest is killing me. Could you lend me some? I'll pay you back, I promise. Linda had rehearsed this moment in her head for years. No. Silence. What? I said no, Carol. I'm not lending you money. But you just paid $24,000 for Mom's surgery. You clearly have it. I do, and I used it for a life-or-death emergency. Your credit card debt isn't that. You got into it by spending more than you earned. Lending you money won't fix that. It'll just make you think I'll bail you out next time. Carol's voice went cold. So you'll save Mom, but you won't help your own sister? I saved Mom because she was dying. You're not dying. You're learning a lesson I learned 14 years ago. You can't spend your way to happiness. Carol hung up. They didn't speak for 3 weeks. Then came the others. Danny asked for $5,000 to invest in a buddy's landscaping business. Linda said no. A cousin asked for $2,000 to fix her car. Linda said no. Her daughter Jessica hinted that a little help with the wedding would be really appreciated. Linda offered $500, not a penny more. Jessica looked hurt. Mom, I know you have more than that. I do, but your wedding isn't my financial responsibility. I'll contribute what I'm comfortable with. The rest is up to you and Nathan. Jessica didn't understand. Your grandma's heart was failing. Your wedding is a choice, a beautiful choice, but not an emergency. If you want a $30,000 wedding, you and Nathan need to figure that out. I'm not going into my savings so you can have a party. The judgment came fast. She's selfish. She finally has money and now she's stingy. What's the point of saving if you won't help family? She heard all of it, and it hurt. But she didn't break, because she'd learned something her family hadn't. Helping in an emergency doesn't obligate you to fund everyone's lifestyle forever.
In June, something happened that validated every decision Linda had made. Her landlord called. "Linda, I wanted to give you a heads up. I'm selling the house. I can give you 60 days to find a new place, or, if you're interested, I'll sell it to you for $140,000. It's worth about $165,000, but you've been a great tenant." For most people, that phone call would have been a disaster. Pack up, move, find a new rental, start over. But Linda opened her credit union app. Balance, $71,580. She'd replenished after the surgery, kept saving, kept disciplined. She called the landlord back. "I'll buy it. Cash offer, $135,000. Close in 2 weeks." He laughed, thinking she was joking. She wasn't. Linda bought the house she'd been renting for 18 years, paid in full. No mortgage, no debt, no monthly payment except utilities and taxes. When Carol found out, she called, voice shaking. "You bought a house in cash?" "Yes." "How much do you have, Linda?" "Enough. That's all you need to know." "This is insane. You've been living like you're broke for years." "No," Linda corrected. "I've been living like I'm disciplined. There's a difference." Carol was quiet for a long moment, then softer. "I'm sorry." "For what?" "For judging you, for thinking you didn't know how to live. You were the only one who actually did." Linda didn't gloat, didn't say, "I told you so." She just said, "It's not too late for you to start." And Carol did. She started small. Canceled subscriptions, stopped financing things, started putting $200 a month into savings. Not much, but it was a start. At work, Linda's coworker Jen noticed something too. "You seem different lately, calmer." Linda smiled. "I bought a house." Jen's eyes went wide. "You what? How?" "Saved for it." "For how long?" 14 years. Jen stared. Then she laughed, but it wasn't a happy laugh. It was the laugh of someone realizing they'd been doing everything wrong. "I've been working here as long as you. I don't have $5,000 saved. You bought a house." Linda didn't rub it in. She just said, "It's not about how much you make, it's about what you keep." Jen started bringing lunch from home the next week. By September, Linda owned her home outright. No mortgage, no landlord, no rent. Her savings account was rebuilding, back up to $52,000, and nobody knew except her. She still drove the Civic, still wore simple clothes, still brought Tupperware to work. From the outside, Linda's life looked exactly the same. But inside, everything was different, because she wasn't pretending anymore. She wasn't waiting for permission. She wasn't living for other people's approval. She had options. And in a world where most people were trapped by debt, by payments, by the need to impress strangers on Instagram, Linda was free.
2 years after Linda bought her house, her mother Helen was sitting in Linda's kitchen drinking coffee. It was a quiet Saturday morning. Sunlight coming through the window Linda had finally replaced. The house looked different now, not because Linda had spent a fortune remodeling, but because she'd made small improvements with cash. New paint, fixed cabinets, a decent couch she'd bought secondhand. Helen looked around and said something that made Linda's chest tighten. "I'm proud of you." Linda looked up from her coffee. "For what?" "For being smarter than all of us." Linda shook her head. "I'm not smarter, Mom. I just listened to Grandma." Helen smiled sadly. "Your grandmother survived things we can't imagine. The Depression, the Dust Bowl. She knew what mattered." She paused. "I wish I'd taught you kids that, but I didn't. You figured it out on your own." Linda didn't say anything, just held her coffee cup a little tighter. Because the truth was, it had been lonely. For 14 years, she'd lived with a secret that made her look poor when she wasn't, made her look stuck when she was building, made her look like she didn't know how to enjoy life when really she'd found a different kind of joy. The joy of not owing anyone anything. Helen looked at her daughter. "Carol told me she's saving now. She has $4,000 put away,
First time in her life. Linda smiled. Good. She learned it from watching you. She learned it from almost losing you. Helen reached across the table and squeezed Linda's hand. You saved my life twice. Once with the surgery, once by showing everyone what real strength looks like. Linda's eyes stung, but she didn't cry, because she'd learned a long time ago, the people who build in silence don't need applause. They just need to know they did the right thing. By 2026, Linda's life still looked ordinary from the outside. She still worked at the vet clinic, still drove the Civic, though she'd finally fixed the bumper and the window, still wore simple clothes, still brought lunch from home, but she owned her home, had $87,000 in savings, had zero debt, and most importantly, had peace. The kind of peace you only get when you stop performing your life for other people and start living it for yourself. Her daughters understood now. Jessica had a small, beautiful wedding she and Nathan paid for themselves, and later thanked her mom for not bailing them out. We actually appreciate it more because we earned it, she said. Amy started saving 20% of every paycheck. I don't want to be 55 and panicking. I want to be 55 like you. Carol paid off her credit card debt. It took 3 years, but she did it. And when she made the final payment, she called Linda crying. I'm free. I finally get what you meant. The wildest part? Nobody posted about Linda on social media. Nobody wrote articles about her. Nobody called her inspiring. She just lived, quietly, steadily, with a freedom most people would never understand because they were too busy chasing things that looked like success but felt like chains. One night, Linda was lying in bed in the house she now owned, scrolling through Facebook. She saw a post from an old high school friend. Finally debt-free after 8 years. If I can do it, so can you. 487 likes, 92 comments, everyone celebrating. Linda smiled, put her phone down, and turned off the light. She was happy for them, truly, but she didn't need the applause, because she learned what her grandmother knew all along. The richest people in the room are the ones nobody knows are rich. Linda never announced her transformation. She didn't need to, because the only person who needed to know she'd changed was the one person who'd done the work in silence through 14 years of judgment, loneliness, and doubt. Herself. And that was enough. The people who talk about change rarely change. The people who change rarely talk about it. Real transformation doesn't need an audience. It just needs discipline, time, and the courage to look poor while you're building wealth nobody can see.